Successful people who got crappy grades in high school or college, what are you doing now and how did, or didn't, your grades affect your success career? I got really bad grades in both. When I was in my early 30s, I had a big chip on my shoulder about it and started taking college classes at large. One at a time. The motivation I had to do well in them was incredible. After a while of that, I was able to take my new transcripts and use them to get into grad school. No one cared that I had gotten poor grades 10 years earlier. The Asian Way. Family business. Fail at Asian Way Plan A and start Asian Way Plan B. I am currently a scientist and enjoy doing research. I come from a country where emphasis is on memorizing rather than learning and applying the said knowledge. I failed a lot during school. Luckily, when it was time to look for universities, sister campus of a well-known university opened where I lived. Their entry requirements were not that bad. I got in and my grades improved massively as I could apply what I learned. Moved countries to do a master's and a PhD. And here I am now. I still curse my original country's style of education. Edit, thought this would be buried here. But my fellows Indians found me. Yes. I am Indian. My husband and I are opposites. We're both intelligent. But I was very motivated to get good grades at school etc. Whereas he was not. We met at university where I once again outperformed him when we graduated. I initially got the better paid, better jobs and was the main earner. Then, he got employed at a world-renowned company in an entry-level job but in a sector he was passionate about. It also turned out, when motivated and interested in the subject matter, he has a genuine talent for innovation. Within 8 years, he worked his way up from a bottom-rung grunt on a temp contract to an associate director, who, when he got headhunted by another company, was given a 40% pay rise as a counter-offer to keep him. Because it was acknowledged how valuable to his company he is. He has the most motivated team in his section of the company. Capital I. On the other hand, lost motivation. Got trapped in a role that has de-skilled me, and when I applied for a role, was told my degree is no longer relevant because it's over 10 years old. So, in summary, grades are bullshit and it's more important to find something you enjoy and are good at, in my opinion. I'm currently experiencing this. AVG grades and can't find an internship which I require to graduate. Stressful times could do with some hope lol. I had some serious depression in college that tanked my grades. I managed to end up with a 3.0 GPA. But I failed several courses in my major. I pretty much had A's or F's. I did well enough and interviewed well enough that I got a job. It has mostly affected me in that I'm worried I won't get into a good graduate school program because of my crappy grades in my major. I haven't applied. But I know I would do well now that my mental health is in order and I know my grades don't show that. Graduate student here at a school I never thought I would get into. I went through the same thing in undergrad and ended up with a 2.9 GPA overall. The key to getting in is to be open about your mental health journey and how you have learned and grown. Just applying to graduate school is proof of that. And you should be proud. Talk to the admissions counselors and write every optional essay that is available. I'm a factory worker that owns property and is working on getting a farm going. Considering I don't have any loans out yet, I'd say I'm doing well lol. I live with my grandma since I need to get going on phase 2 of my plan. And she's letting me chill until I get my house built in 2021. Everything I own has been obtained through hard work. But none of it can be taken away since it's 100% mine. I was a very average student through high school. And even more average during university. Even repeating a bunch of units as I struggled through. But I got there. And graduated with a degree in chemistry. Been a good ride since. Successful in instrumental analysis AMD managing laboratories. And now earning well over 6 figures internationally in the oil and gas industry. My grades never mattered. The piece of paper merely served as a key to many doors. I barely made it through high school. I failed biology and physics. I have degrees in biology and physics now. 6-figure salary. I stopped ducking off. Playing video games all day. Smoking pot. And chasing women. Not too crappy but good enough to enter foundation of a medical school. Some of the peers scored 9As plus in the national high school exam and I'm the lowest A scorer among all, 3As. Never failed any university year exams but didn't score too well either. Just enough to pass the exam. Currently waiting for government notice to work as an intern doctor. IMO grades are important but the path that you're going to take, aka your dream, is even more important as it is the foundation where your future hold. Went to for-profit college that didn't care about grades but also was world renowned and had an incredible curriculum. Graduated college with a 2.7 GPA. Got my first job at a recording studio because I went to this school. Got a job at a radio station because even though my grades weren't great I know my stuff and even walked out of college with a few certs. Now, I run my own recording studio and have several other side hustles. Turns out I'm not dumb. Just have a problem with authority. I guess I'm successful at this point. I have $10,000 in retirement savings. Own a home and a car. And have a stable paycheck. I'm a bit behind on my retirement savings. But I'll catch up. I wasn't employed full-time until 4 years ago so it's understandable. I work in marketing and get paid $11 per hour. My ability to keep my credit up and manage my money well has helped me more than grades ever have. I am changing careers and I'm planning to be a math teacher. Passing is more important than grades. Nobody asks my grades. Only that I have the credentials. Astronomer here. I was never a good student because I couldn't for the life of me take tests well. I could study hard but somehow never be able to answer things in the exams, either total blank or totally misread the question type stuff. So I mainly got B's and C's, just over a 3.0 in high school. And a 3.2 in college. But even failed the occasional exam in high school and college. It was pretty demoralizing, especially when the advice in high school was just that I must be lazy. Even when I worked hard to study. As there seemed to be no difference if I did or didn't. By college I realized I just don't test well. So I had to make up for it by turning in really good homework for the chance of a B or a C as my final grade. So I worked hard on those problem sets. I also got to know my profs in office hours and ask questions. And helping with those homeworks aside, that definitely helped me sometimes when I was on the cusp between 2-letter grades. Profs usually bump up students they know worked hard in their class. As they are people. One of those profs offered me a summer job in his lab. So I got a ton of research experience in as well. Ultimately, when applying for grad school, I got into one program for my astronomy PhD. It turns out taking exams really has no bearing on your capacity to do research, and instead the grit to work extra hard on homework and in the lab was way more useful. So I completed my PhD. And did kick-ass research. So just started my postdoc in astronomy a few weeks ago at Harvard. It's so surreal to me as I never thought I was good enough for a position like mine. So in conclusion, I always make it clear to people that you don't have to be a straight A student to make it in STEM. Doing that would have definitely helped. But wasn't going to happen for me. And ultimately, if you're passionate about your topic enough to work extra hard at it, you can also succeed. Don't count yourself out too quick. I'm in it. But I think my situation applies in most, not all, fields. As time passes, the focus gradually switches to your experience. After 5-10 years, your experience, track record, and fit within the org will become the key. No one will care about what grade you got in calculus. After 26 years in my field, my resume has one half line that acknowledges I graduated from XXX and 19XX with a degree in ZZZ. I got all C's in high school. I work in imports from Asia. Chemicals and the kind of crap you find at Pier 1. By the way, you're paying about 4x what I do for the same sheet. I dropped out of college because it was bullshit and costing me money. I worked 100 hours a week at 3 jobs until I saved about $15,000 and bought some Chinese crap and resold it for twice what I paid. Rinse and repeat. Edit. I'm self-employed. Got mostly B's and C's in high school. Almost actually failed my senior year at one point. Dropped out of college 3 times. I'm in school part-time now working on my associates. Now work full-time as a systems analyst with zero debt and loans, other than the car payment Mayo. Can't say the same for all my friends who went to college and got degrees and are working minimum wage jobs. I'm 26 BTW. Grades don't matter. It's the effort you put into your work and what you want to do that does. Edit. Context. I dropped school once I finished high school. Studying wasn't for me, and spent most of my free time playing video games online. The idea was to become a pro player. I never got even close to pro. But my English is pretty good. Thanks to that I have a very good job on the naval buses, where I also spend my free time playing games. I'm not successful but I love my life so I think I qualify. I failed my English in grade 12 so I didn't technically graduate. I had an abusive boyfriend in high school and broke up with him before the test. My entire high school experience was plagued with suspensions, drugs, and bad boyfriends. I walked into my final exam, worth 50%. Sat down, broke down crying and walked out. My parents weren't too disappointed since there was a glitch in the system and I still got to walk the stage. I took English upgrading the following winter and went to university for an English degree. Now I teach ESL. I am a software engineer for 9 years now. Hate the job but it is a lot of money. I had bad grades in both but I do know that if I had better grades I would have ended with even a better career. I did great through high school. Got into an Ivy League college. Did very poorly due to ongoing depression and treated ADHD. Graduated in 5 years by the skin of my teeth. Switched majors a bunch of times till I landed at environmental science. Spent 3 years searching for anything related to my field while working my way up to assistant manager at my local Starbucks. Got hired by an environmental consulting firm who was interested in the management experience I had and just cared that I'd graduated, not what my grades were. Did well there for 3 years. Got promoted. Moved out of state to a different company. Did well there but didn't enjoy it. Now I'm an assistant project manager at a major environmental consulting firm and love my job. Moral of the story: do well no matter what your job is. You never know what might be useful later. I'm a high school dropout but fortunately for me I have a pen 15 that's as fat as a Pringles can. Seriously, so I think you know what I do for a living and it doesn't require good grades. Mediocre grades in high school, then my stepdad died at 18 the summer before college. Super down and escaped into video games, flunked out. Started running and quit job at IHOP as dishwasher. Friend's sister wants to lose weight so we work out together. Eventually I get her to break up with her BF and we start dating. Get a bunch of different sales jobs, then move to being an after school teacher for 4 years. GF's brother gets me a job at his place that builds machines to test pharmacy drug combinations as a package material filler. Now in training to actually assemble the machines. Still with GF after almost 7 years. I hated school so I never properly applied myself to it. Started working as a gardener within a week of graduating at 16 and have been a gardener ever since. The main qualities that have helped me in my career is my attention to detail and work ethic. I'm self-employed, work with my dad now, but it's not unusual for us to work 12+ hour days but we reap the rewards. Most of our work is contracted and is either luxury housing, hotels or public sites like galleries and museums etc, which we get headhunted for. We even worked and were credited on a gold winner at the Chelsea Flower Show a few years back. Business has been steady for the past 8 years but we've finally got our big break this year and have tripled our company's yearly income. All in all, I think grades have very little to do with success in the trade field. It's more about quality and work ethic. I got C's in high school and failed out of college twice. I then joined the Marine Corps. Got out and used my GI Bill to get my bachelor's and master's degree. Successfully. I now work in a major corporation doing data analytics and logistics work and make a pretty great salary with tons of potential to make a lot more since my company only promotes from within at the levels I'm at. I'm also in the process of starting my side business that will hopefully go full time in the next few years with some of my savings from my career. My family lives a very comfortable lifestyle with nice cars and a nice house. Although I did fail out of college twice, I did wind up getting 2 degrees. I just want people to know. Since a lot of former Marines always tell me this. Even if you aren't book smart or a school person, go get your damn degree. Especially if you have the GI Bill. I hated every second of school. Like despised it. But stuck through it. Even if you don't have the GI Bill. Student debt isn't as bad as Reddit makes it out. I had some from when I failed out of school. Twice. My wife has her master's degree and it more than pays for her student loans. We both worked full time and got our degrees at the same time. With kids. Community colleges are cheap. And state schools aren't bad either. Just work hard. Put in more effort than those around you. And most of the time you'll succeed.